Okay, good day guys. This is Hadme Wisdom C.FX Academy once again. Now, what we're going to be looking at is the trend. Okay, now, what is the trend in the forex market? It's a market movement going in a specific movement. Thank you. Yes, it's a market movement going in a specific direction. Okay. Now, let me say an upward movement is the movement that actually moves, is the market movement that actually move upwards. Okay, like now, let's see some certain things like I drew recently. Okay, let's just check it out. This is the movement. The first thing we're going to see is an upward movement, like this whole market here from here to the top is an upward movement. I'm going to be teaching us on how to get an entry in the upward movement, and I'm going to be teaching how to get an entry in the downwards movement, and I'm going to be teaching what we call consolidation market. That anytime we see this type of market, we actually run away from the market. Forex markets, like I always tell my students, I actually tell them that it's not owned by your parents, so your parents cannot actually make the market move to their direction. Okay, but what we actually do, we actually analyze and take, like, okay, like we retailers, what we do, we actually analyze using the day time frame to the 4 hour, from the 4 hour take our entries from the 15 minutes or so. Okay, so now, how to identify a market movement, an upward market movement? This is how we look at the first low. Okay, now let me mark out some certain things that we really need in the market. Let me remove all this BOS and stuff. um what we need, let me say we mark out this eye, mark out this eye. This eye is the recent high before a new, before this high, right? Before this high, right? Okay, now we already have an higher high. While this low is not lower than this low, right? Meaning to say this low is higher than this low. That means this low will be called an lower high, a lower high, sorry, a lower high. Then from this lower high, if, because this whole pullback now is what we call retracement, okay? And if we know that it's an upward movement like this, because what we do, we mark out the recent breaks of structure, two recent break of structure and a demand zone. That's where we be trading from. Okay, something like this. Two recent break of structures. This is the first break of structure, then this is the second break of structure. Okay, then we be looking for a trade around this zone, because there will be something called an order block here. Okay, at the 4 hour, a demand zone at the 4 hour. Then we zoom to the 15 minutes to look for an entry. And the entry, let me say, we are going to see something like this. For me, my strategy, supply and demand. For at the 15-minute time frame, we are going to see something like this as my confirmation. Okay, most times, yeah, it's actually from liquidity grab. Okay, then it come back to that to medicate, because this is something rare that you will not see everywhere. So I'll be looking for something like this. Sorry, um something like this, a market structure shift in the 15-minute time frame, and I'll be targeting something called demand zone. Okay, my demand zone. While this place can be called a liquidity grab or an inducement zone, this place is where markets really trap people. An inducement zone, an inducement zone. While this one will be my 15 minutes order block. Okay, 15-minute demand zone. You see why? Why for why we target this high, this 4 hour high. Target this 4 hour high, meaning to say this whole movement, let me say, in the 4 hour it may look like this. Okay, it may look like something like this. I believe it look exactly like this one I drew here. Okay, so we'll be targeting our first TP will be the 15 minutes high. That means here, this is our first take profit. This is our first TP. First TP. Well, our second TP will be this high. Okay, will be our second TP. That's it. While for the downward movement, we'll be looking for two breaks of structures. Okay, two breaks of structures. Two breaks of structures. Two breaks of structures. And a demand zone. A supply zone, sorry. A supply zone. A 4 hour supply zone or a 1 hour supply zone. Okay, let me use 1 hour anyway. And most time we look for entries in the 5 minute time frame. So let me go straight to what we have for the day. My God. Okay, now we'll be looking for entries. When it tap back to the zone, we'll be looking for something like this in the 5 minute time frame. Observe something like this. Okay, then we target the recent high. Okay, the 5 minutes we generate all these 5 minutes we generate all these 5 minutes. Okay, from here immediately we see these things, market structure shifts and a demand zone in the 5 minute time frame. A demand zone in the 5 minute time frame. We are going to immediately take the trade. Okay, supply zone, sorry, supply zone. Then target this first high, target this first high. I'll first TP and I'll second TP. First TP and I'll second TP. Okay, this one is our first TP. While this one is our second TP. That's how we actually trade the supply and demand strategy, guys. While this other one here is what we call consolidation market or consolidating market or sideways market. Okay, I don't really trade this sideways